What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Teran Rodriguez, bringing you another edition of Set Point Extra Point. And as always, we have ourselves a jam-packed show as we have a lot of volleyball to recap and go over, such as the NCAA Division I Regional Semifinals are just about on the horizon of being closed out. We only have one match remaining that's going on, and will it end right before this whole thing goes live fully? Also, the NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball National Championship is set as Lynn of Boca Raton, Florida will be taking on San Francisco State. Also, the NIVC is nearing its completion of the two finalists as Arizona punched its ticket, while we're still waiting on the winner of Bowling Green and St. John's, which will be played tomorrow as of this recording. So hey, everyone, set that. Remember that serious volleyball action here on Set Point Extra Point. This is Teran Rodriguez bringing you another edition of Set Point Extra Point here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And welcome all to another edition of Set Point Extra Points. Thank you all for joining me late on this Friday night. And for those that are, well, it's not quite to Saturday, but thank you for joining me on this late night. Or if you're in Hawaii time, thank you for joining me on this early evening. All right, so basically I'm going to be recapping the NCAA Women's Volleyball Division I Regional Semifinals as it's almost done. Nebraska and Dayton, as of this recording, is pretty much tied up at 23-23, but we've got a challenge from Dayton as they're challenging it to see if that ball was actually in. This was a serve as Dayton is now challenging it as my boy Ralph Calise is in here. He says, yo, Teran, double duty tonight. This is incredible. Yes, I decided to try to get things going here, give myself a little bit of a recap, regional semifinal reaction show. And Ralph Calise says, Pitt advances. I have a good feeling about them. Let's go. I have a good feeling about them, too. I mean, they did get pushed to the limit against Oregon in 5, but it is tough to beat a team twice in one season. But yeah, Pitt is off to the regional semifinals. Might as well just start there. They did beat Oregon in a 5-set thriller. Have to give a hats off to Oregon. They fought tooth and nail in the 3rd set, and they also fought tooth and nail in the 4th set to force the 5th set. And yeah, it looks like Dayton is challenging on if the ball was in. That's so close right there. Yes, I will be giving a little bit of a live reaction of what's going on with Nebraska and Dayton. So while we're pretty much waiting to start fully, I'm just gonna say, yeah, this is basically the women's volleyball national championship is getting really, really good. So I really am excited for the regional finals with the Elite 8, which I think is going to be really cool tomorrow, as we're still waiting on this Dayton challenge, and it's taken a while. So I'm thinking that ball was just a bit out. So, and while I'm waiting, just gotta get everyone a little bit of time to get in here, because I imagine it's still lit. It's pretty late and people are about to go to bed, but if you're still willing to get some volleyball into you, I basically envy you. So the challenge was unsuccessful, as let me just tell everyone I am live. Let's talk some NCAA women's volleyball. The action. All right. Lexi Rodriguez is up to serve. 23-23, Nebraska Here's Rodriguez's serve. Let's serve right there. Miller sets it to the middle. That is instantly crushed, and Dayton's going to have a set point opportunity. Honestly, Dayton needs this set. They're down 2-0 at Nebraska. Nebraska, obviously being the number one overall seed number one seed in their region, they've pretty much blown by their opponents in the first 2 rounds. Dayton needed a Herculean effort to beat Utah, as here is the serve. This one's going to the left side. Looks like that is Harper Murray on the put down. Don't have a roster in front of me, but Nebraska, actually that was Taylor Landfair on that kill. Regardless, we are going to overtime here as Merritt Beeson is back to serve for Nebraska. This is getting intense here. Oh man, I'm feeling like Tony Romo here. Oh, Jim, this is getting intense, Jim. I don't know. Maybe Merritt Beeson serves it in, Jim. All right, Merritt Beeson at the serve. 24-24. Good serve by Beeson. This is going to get bumps it tight to the net. Dug up. Here's the set. Going back to Landfair. Oh my gosh. It's going to be match point for Nebraska. Taylor Landfair. That libero had a family. My good golly gracious. Absolutely amazing. The Dayton libero nearly dug that one, but just could not get to it. Merritt Beeson will be serving for match point and a spot in the regional final, which will be on Sunday, where they'll take on Nebraska if Beeson serves this one in. Good serve by Beeson. Dayton on the slide kill. That's blocked. Miller going to set this one to the left side. Purse through. I would not be surprised if that is Amadovar on that kill. And we are going to continue playing on. Dayton has tied things up at 25 apiece. Man, this is getting intense. I don't know what to think of this. Hope y'all like my commentary. If you don't, then I understand. But here's Amadovar serving. And it looks like we have a stoppage as looks like everyone wasn't set, which is pretty funny. So, yeah, if you're just joining, yeah, that is Lexi Amadovar. Only 5'8", and she is just swinging for the fences here. She's taking on players that are more than likely taller than her. So here's Amadovar serving. Another good serve there. Looked pretty much just like the last serve. Landfair again, off speed, dug up. Miller going to set this one for the Bick. That one hits deep corner, and that's Amadovar again. And it's going to be set point for Dayton. It's going to be set point number 2 for the Flyers. This was just well dug by the libero, Carissa Kaminsky. So let's see if Dayton can clinch the set. Good serve right there. Going back to Landfair. Landfair is roofed. Taylor Landfair is denied at the net by Liana Sarkeesian. And Dayton forces a third set by taking set 3, 27-25 in overtime. First set that Nebraska has lost all tournament. And boy, with how Dayton has battled, they saw their starting setter, Alyssa Miller, get injured. She came back onto the court, and now Dayton, who's been pretty much banged up all season, they're off to forcing a fourth set. We play on. All right. Now, with that being out of the way, I guess I could have started a little bit later, but I digress. So anyway, that was it. That was intense. That was intense right there. So, oh, good golly gracious. Dayton lives to fight another set. This is a fourth set. To recap the regional semifinals. All right, but yeah, man. All right, now let's recap. Without any further delay, let's recap the regional semifinals. So the regional semifinals are as follows. Before we get on into that, gotta make sure we get our plugs. Make sure to follow Set Point on social media at set_point.ie, on Instagram at set_point.iesr, and you can follow me personally on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Teran Rodriguez 1. All right, so regional semifinal recap in Division 1. So let's go up through down. So let's start yesterday in the Pitt Regional Semifinals. So we had Pitt taking on Oregon. I guess we can go chronological order, but yeah, we'll first go with Kentucky versus Missouri. So Kentucky, Missouri, fun little matchup right there. Kentucky took the first two sets, which was no ultimate surprise right there. I mean, Kentucky, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in one season. However, Kentucky just looked ready to go. They looked like they were just better equipped and prepared. But then Missouri was able to force a fourth set. They just steamrolled Kentucky in the third set. This was the set that proved that Missouri deserved to be in the NCAA tournament. And they deserve the rights and they deserve everyone's respect. And then in the fourth set, it was pretty much all Kentucky. Kentucky was just rolling as Brooklyn DeLay had a big game with 22 kills. I also got Megan Wilson with 13 kills. I also got 10 kills from Brooke Boltema. Missouri was led by Jordan Iliff, who had 20 kills and 9 digs. You also had Michael Vernon, who had 11 kills. Unfortunately, it was not enough as Kentucky was able to down Missouri for a third straight time. It's not going to be like last year where Kentucky was going to lose to an SEC opponent. That was kind of my big fear right there. I was thinking it's going to be tough to beat a team 3 times in one season. So I'm glad Kentucky did make it back to the regional final, which is the first time they've made it to the regional final since 2021, where they wound up winning the national championship. It was the spring of 2021, basically post-COVID. So good for Craig Skinner and his crew. And they will face Pitt, which, like I mentioned, they had a Herculean effort outlasting Oregon. This was a doozy of a matchup. I had this as a lock of the day, but I didn't think that Pitt was going to really ultimately struggle with this. So first set, Pitt was just strong. They took the first set 25-19. And then the second set, excuse me for one quick second. Sorry. Second set, Pitt had set point at 24-23. One more. Sorry, just a little allergies right there. But yeah, Pitt had set point at 24-23, but then Oregon closed out on a 3-0 run, dodged the set point attempt from Pitt, and wound up winning the second set 26-24. Then the third set, Pitt kind of reestablished themselves as Nebraska's already off to a 2-0 start in set 4. But Pitt was able to roll their way through set 3, 25-16. But then Oregon got off to a hot start. They led 9-4, eventually 12-5. They just were not looking back as they eventually took the fourth set, 25-21. Once Oregon got off to that 7-point lead, I think the lead even reached double digits. But regardless, Oregon, once they got off to that big lead, I was thinking, yep, this one is going to go 5 sets. There's no doubt in my mind. And Pitt had the lead for the most part in set 5. Oregon was doing all its best to try to come back, but unfortunately it was to no avail. And my mistake, it looks like Dayton won the point because of a violation from Nebraska. I have the TV on, but it is muted. But either way, Nebraska's now up 10-2. Harper Murray has 10 kills in set 3, which was pretty darn impressive. So I'm glad she is thriving at Nebraska. Having come from Minnesota, she did well at Minnesota, but honestly, it looks like she's a whole different person at Nebraska. She just took a powerful swing as Dayton got called for a net violation. So point to Nebraska. But fifth set, Pitt was able to establish a nice little lead. Oregon did all that they could to try to get back into the set, but it was to no avail as Pitt wound up winning the fifth set 15-12. Very entertaining matchup right there as Pitt was led by Olivia Babcock, who had 31 kills. And no, I'm not crying, or no, there's not a tear in my eye. Dayton just scored, so now it's 3-2 in favor of Nebraska in the fourth set. But Olivia Babcock had 31 kills. Tori Stafford, 14 kills. Bree Kelly, 12 kills. Babcock also had 12 digs. Rachel Fairbanks had 54 assists to go along with 12 digs. Stafford had 12 digs. Valeria Vasquez Gomez, whose name I'm pronouncing correctly this time, she had 11 digs. Emmy Klika had 13 digs to lead that department. Oregon was led by Mimi Collier, who had 15 kills. Michelle Elobete, 14 kills. Oni Afobu, 13 kills. And Noemi Glover had 10 kills. Kristen Klein had 46 assists to go along with 12 digs. Obete had 12 digs. It just wasn't enough, though. But I got to applaud Oregon on a fantastic effort against the number one seed on the road. So, my goodness. And Ralph said it best. Pitt advances, and he's got a good feeling about them. Well, that is a very good win right there. Oregon is no easy cakewalk opponent. My thing is for Pitt, will they be able to limit the mistakes? And honestly, everyone knew that Pitt was eventually going to run into a little bit of trouble. But honestly, I think that now that Pitt's kind of got their ugly match out of the way, they can only go up from here. They are the number one overall seed, and honestly, they just look strong. So it's Pitt, Kentucky in the Pitt Regional Final tomorrow. Then we had, in the lower left bracket, we had Stanford defeating Florida in 4 sets. Now, Stanford kind of let the first set kind of get away from them as they were up 24-22, but allowed Florida to score the last 4 points. But they stood on top of business, winning the next set by a score of 25-17. Much better set from Stanford. And then it got a little dicey for Stanford as they had to go overtime to win set 3, but they won it 26-24. And then the fourth set also got dicey. Florida was really chomping at the bit to try to force a fifth set. See what I did there? But Stanford wasn't having any of it. They won the fourth set 29-27 to win the match and breathe a sigh of relief. So Stanford was led by Ipar Kurt, who had 17 kills. Really good match from her, only a freshman. I also got 17 kills from Sammy Francis. Now, if you don't know the whole timeline of Sammy Francis, she's either had an illness or she's been injured. But Sammy Francis has been a warrior. This is her first year that she's been fully healthy, and I'm so happy she is thriving in Stanford's offense altogether, as Nebraska is now up 7-4 in set 4, as Taylor Landfair just put down another kill. Anyway, Stanford also got 10 kills from Jordan Harvey and Lizzie Andrew. Both are just freshmen. I think one of them is a sophomore, but they are underclassmen. So, oh my God, that was a nice little roof right there. Jiminy Christmas. I think that was Harper Murray on that roof. Good golly, Miss Molly. Yeah, Nebraska is up 8-4, which is nice. Anyway, so Cami Minor had 56 assists to go along with 9 digs. Sorry if you're hearing if you're hearing my mom and stepdad's dog in the background. Yeah, he's kind of been a little bit of a bad boy, but it's all good. As another block for Nebraska has them up 9-4 in set 4. I'm hoping for Dayton's sake they didn't use up all their energy in set number 3, because they needed a lot of that to stay alive. I mean, Dayton's doing all that they can to try to force a fifth, but defensively, Nebraska is just making sure that Dayton just does not get past the net or doesn't have the ball touch the floor, as Dayton is forced into a timeout. Florida was led by Kennedy Martin, who had 21 kills. Congratulations to her, as she surpassed 1,000 career kills, which I think is awesome sauce. Jayla August had 11 kills, but that was kind of where the buck stopped. Isabel Martin had 8 kills. That was pretty much all of the catalysm from the kill department. Alexis Ducky had 11 digs to go along with 37 assists. But Stanford is dancing into the night, where they will face the winner of Louisville-Purdue, and that just so happens to be Louisville. Louisville, okay, I'm going to make this really short. Louisville just rolled past Purdue in straight sets, 25-17, 25-18, and 25-18. This one was not surprising. Louisville just handled Purdue. This was I wouldn't say the least exciting, but it was the most one-sided match of the day. of the regionals, as Louisville was led by Anna DeBeer, who had 15 kills. Charity Looper had 13 kills. Looper was underrated in my opinion. She also had 9 digs. DeBeer had 7 digs. Purdue, on the other hand, they were led by Raven Colvin, who had 13 kills. Eva Hudson had 10 kills. You know, Purdue wasn't really on their A game that much when Raven Colvin had to pretty much lead the offense. But it's tough when you're facing a talented Louisville team like that who was just doing everything in their power to just slow down Purdue. And Purdue, I mean, they didn't play bad, but offensively, they weren't as strong as Louisville was. Louisville had hit nearly 400 the entire match. They hit 481 in set 1, 531 in set 2, and 394 in set 3. So Louisville advances to the regional final, where they will host against Stanford. Round 3 between the Cardinal and the Cardinals. So it's the battle of the Cardinal, as the slide kill getting dug up by Dayton. Nice little dig right there. I think that was Murray on that dig. And that one dump kill is denied, as Miller just tried to push it over, but to no avail. Man, this isn't looking good for Dayton. They're down 10-4 in set 4. They need a miracle right here. All right, but that was that for yesterday's regional semifinals. Then we go to today's regional semifinals. So let's go in chronological order. So let's start with the matchup. Creighton, Texas. And I just got to say to Creighton or Blue Jay Nation, I'm sorry for picking against you. Yeah, for those that don't know, I did pick Creighton to lose this one. I picked Texas to advance to the Elite Eight and the Final Four for that matter. So, and one of the reasons why is because Texas, in my opinion, is one of the more better postseason teams. But for me, I think Creighton, being experienced, being a senior-laden team, and wanting that hunger to make it back to the regional finals after falling short last year, is what really had them was what really propelled them to make it past this win. As Texas wound up winning the first set 26-24. So Creighton actually led 20-15. They got off to a fast start. They led 20-15 eventually in set 1. Texas eventually managed to make a comeback, took the first set 26-24, but Creighton got off to another fast start, and this time they didn't let up any lead, as they wound up taking the second set 25-19. Same thing in set 3. Another fast start for Creighton. Eventually saw them taking the third set 25-21. And then set 4, Texas and Creighton were tied early on. Well, actually, Texas got off to a nice little lead. Then Creighton tied it up at 10-10. And Creighton was just blocking well. And I feel Texas was a little bit, they were a little conservative. I feel they were tipping quite a bit. They just were afraid of that Creighton block. So I feel that was kind of what hindered them. So it sucks for Texas, because I think they definitely could have won this match. But unfortunately for them, a few of the bounces just did not go their way. And oh my God, what a freaking amazing dump from, I think, Bergen Riley, the setter of Nebraska. Man, that was a thing of beauty. It's no wonder she was named, she was setter of the year this year? But yeah, she just saw the campfire right in the middle of the forest. Anyway, back to Creighton, Texas. Yeah, Texas just didn't seem like the Texas self. And this means that there will be a new NCAA Women's Volleyball National Champion, as Texas fell to Creighton in 4 sets. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. It was bound to end eventually. The reign was kind of bound to end eventually. I thought it was going to end after Maddie Skinner. I knew it was going to end this year. I had Texas losing in the Final Four to Nebraska. Speaking of which, they are in a long rally with Dayton. Dayton doing everything possible. What a dig by Teran Rodriguez! As that point was won by Taylor Landfair. Yeah, that was 12 is Taylor Landfair, and then 27 is Harper Murray. So my apologies if I'm getting Harper Murray and Taylor Landfair's names mixed up. So I'm doing this without a roster, trying to do this cold turkey. Anyway, but yeah, Texas will not be repeating as national champions, but it was bound to be broken. But I will just say they had a great run. I don't know how they're going to replace Maddie Skinner. I don't know how they're going to. I don't know how they're going to replace Reagan Rutherford, even though she didn't really have the season that I expected. And Dayton just hit it out as they're going to call timeout. Nebraska's up 14-7. This is not looking good for the Flyers, as Nebraska is about to stand on business. My boy Mikey Two Guns pops into the chat room. He says, "Hey, Teran, great show." Well, I envy you, Mikey, because I imagine you're watching this on the East Coast, and it is Saturday, December 14th. So I envy you for tuning in this late. So thank you, Mikey. I appreciate it. But yeah, Creighton just looked like the Creighton that has been strong and dominant. Ava Martin and Nora Sis both had 15 kills. Jaya Johnson was so underrated. She had 667 and had 9 kills, which I thought was incredible. Kiara Reinhardt also had 9 kills. She hit 438. Even though Creighton only hit 179 in set number 4, they were just overall efficient. Texas, on the other hand, they were led by Maddie Skinner, who had 23 kills. Mariana Singletary had 11 kills. Aiden Ames, she had a fantastic freshman year. She had 8 kills. Unfortunately, it was not enough as Creighton advances to the Elite 8 or the regional final for the second time in team history. All right, so they will face Penn State, which wound up beating Marquette in their regional semifinal. So long story short, Penn State was pretty much dominant in the first 2 sets. They wound up winning the first set 25-15. They won the second set 25-21. Marquette actually dodged, 3 match points? As poor Alyssa Miller, she's doing her best to try to keep Dayton into the game. I could see her limping. And she got her leg. In case you're living under a rock or you're just now seeing the Dayton Nebraska match, Alyssa Miller strained her hamstring and she had to go out and she had it taped up. And thankfully, for her sake, she was able to get back into the game, but it is evident that she is not 100%. As here's a kill in the middle from Rebecca Alec. I'm sorry. I got to remember, it's now Rebecca Alec, not Becca. She decided to honor her full name and call herself Rebecca. Anyway, so yeah, Marquette dodged 3 match points in the third set, forced the fourth set by taking set 3, 26-24. That was amazing. That was great resilience by Marquette. Unfortunately for them, that was kind of where the clock struck midnight for them, as Nebraska just dealt an ace. But Penn State just wound up rolling past them in the fourth set. I mean, Marquette did everything they could, but Penn State was just Penn State. There's a reason why Penn State hasn't lost at home this season. So, yeah. Penn State wound up winning the fourth set 25-20, eventually winning the match. Penn State was led by Jess Merzick, who had she wasn't the one that led the way. It was Cameron Hanna, who had 24 kills. Jess Merzick had 20 kills. Taylor Trammell had 9 kills. Caroline Jervicius, I would say she was underrated. She had 5 kills. I mean, it wasn't the biggest kills, and she didn't put up the biggest numbers, but I'm just going to say she made a little bit of an impact, in my opinion. And I'm glad she's thriving after she transferred from Nebraska. No offense, Nebraska fans. Izzy Stark had 43 assists to go along with 13 digs. Penn State had 4 different players with 10-plus digs, which I thought was pretty cool. Other than the third set, Penn State was efficient offensively. They hit 300 or better in every set they won, which was cool. As here's Dayton on the swing. Oh, my God. Oh, it's still alive. Nebraska kept that ball alive in typical Nebraska fashion, and Dayton hits it into the net. So Nebraska now leads 18-8 in set 4. I don't want to I'll save it for later, but man, Nebraska is just so efficient defensively when they dig the freaking ball. It's so amazing. All right, but yeah, Marquette, on the other hand, they were led by Natalie Ring, who had 14 kills. Aubrey Hamilton had 12 kills. They didn't really put up the biggest numbers, in my opinion. The first set was a nightmare, but they got better as Rebecca Alec put down another kill in the middle for Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska's, I hate to say this about Dayton, but I think Nebraska's kind of got this. Adhira Adchanti had 15 kills. Molly Berezowitz had 18 digs. Achanti had 35 assists as well. As it's another service ace from Nebraska. I hate to say this about Nebraska, but I feel this game is in the refrigerator. The door's closed. The eggs are cool. The butter's getting hard. And that Jell-O is jiggling. I will never do that again. Anyway, Marquette, look, Marquette had themselves a great season. But there's a reason why I had Penn State as a lock, and I guess Dayton is challenging that this ball was either in or out. That or Dayton's head coach is trying to slow down the momentum. But yeah, Marquette had a great year. And look, it was awesome to see them make their third Sweet 16 appearance, but this was kind of where the buck stopped. As I'm looking at this replay right here, and was this ball in? Yeah, that has to be in. There's no way that wasn't in. Unless I'm not looking at the best camera angle. Hint, hint, ESPN2. Regardless, back to Marquette. Yeah, Marquette, look, I give them a lot of credit because they came in banged up. But unfortunately, they just ran into a buzzsaw that was Penn State. And they just could not keep up with the Nittany Lions. So, great season for them. Ryan Tice surpassed 400 kills. I'm hearing it was 300 kills. But I was told 400. But I don't know. Numbers are never right. Nebraska now leads 20-8 in set 4. All right, so now we jump to Wisconsin, Texas A&M, which is in the Nebraska region. Before that, Creighton, Penn State's going to be a fun matchup as Dayton just hit it into the net, unfortunately, again. But yeah, Creighton, Penn State is going to be a barn burner. Creighton trying to win their first ever national championship. Penn State trying to win for their head coach, Katie Schumacher-Colley, who's battling stage 2 breast cancer. Anyway, Wisconsin, Texas A&M. This was another fun match. Wisconsin and A&M split the first 2 sets, and then Texas A&M and Wisconsin were tied up at 19 apiece in set number 3, but Wisconsin proceeded to go on a 6-0 run to win the third set, 25-19, to lead 2-1. Then in the fourth set, Texas A&M led for the most part, but Wisconsin wasn't going away that easily. Eventually, it was 24-23. But A&M was able to force a fifth set, winning the fourth set 25-23. Then Wisconsin it was a little bit of a back and forth affair in the fifth set. But looks like Nebraska is challenging that there was a touch off their own swing. Anyway, Wisconsin, it looked like they were going to win this one. Once they got to the side switch, it was 8-6. And then eventually they led 13-9. I was thinking, okay, well, Wisconsin's pretty much got this. As good of a season as Texas A&M had, I just felt that even though Wisconsin has one of their most inexperienced teams or younger teams, I thought Texas A&M was going to give them a battle, and they did. And sure enough, Wisconsin was up 13-9, and most teams at that point are probably packing it in, saying, okay, well, we had a good season. We just could not keep up with this team. But Texas A&M went on a 3-0 run, got to within 1, and they even had the fans in Nebraska on their side, probably because that Wisconsin is their Big Ten foe, but I digress. So it was 13-12 in favor of Wisconsin after they used up both their timeouts. Wisconsin eventually had match point. A&M dodged the match point, but Wisconsin was able to put down the match point, I think, from Sarah Franklin, as Wisconsin took the fifth set 15-13. Wisconsin was led by Sarah Franklin, a.k.a. Frank the Tank, who had 21 kills. Carter Booth had 14 kills. Anna Smrek had 10 kills. Charlie Furbringer had 56 assists and 12 digs. Gulsi Guchtikin had 13 digs. Lola Schumacher had 24 digs. I'm just going to say this for Wisconsin. For a young team, this team has been shattering expectations. I mean, I honestly expected them to make it to the Elite Eight or the regional final. I knew it was going to be a little tough with a younger team, and I feel that Wisconsin still is without they're not without their flaws, but I am certain that they are still going to be a pretty darn good team going into the future. And I am certain they're going to make some noise in the Elite Eight. It's just going to be dependent on who they face. Now, Texas A&M, they were led by Logan Lednicki, who had 23 kills. Emily Helmuth had 14 kills. Morgan Perkins, she had 13 kills. And it looks like Nebraska won the challenge. It looks like, no, they didn't. We are seeing Harper Murray all smiles, though. I mean, that's pretty darn cool. Yeah, Dayton has the ball. Nebraska lost the challenge. Nebraska has one challenge, but Nebraska's up 21-9 at this point. But Texas A&M, look, I got to give it up to them. They had a fantastic season, and they pushed Wisconsin to the edge. They pushed them to the brink. And Dayton just got it. No, Dayton, yeah, this scorecard is literally being the score tracker on the TV is being really silly, if you ask me. But yeah, Texas A&M had a fantastic season. I could not be more proud of them. It was just fantastic on their end. I feel that they are. I think they're back. I hope they're back on the big stage sooner rather than later. As Nebraska just got a big block from Rebecca Alec, shutting down the joust. But yeah, Texas A&M, I feel they're back. I feel they're back, and I don't think they're going anywhere. I hope for their sake they can continue to do great things. So that is that for that regional final. And yeah, let's just commentate the last bit of action here between Dayton and Nebraska. Oh my God, the libero almost had a kill. And it looks like Harper Murray hit the ball out, unfortunately. So Dayton does cross 10 points, but Nebraska is still up 22-10. Yeah, again, Dayton's going to need a miracle. As please don't challenge this, John Cook. I got to be up at 6 a.m. anyway. 6 a.m. my time, yeah. Currently, right now, in my time zone, it is 9:33 p.m. As nice little kill from, I think that was Merritt Beeson, trying to simultaneously look at this and look at the chat at the same time. Yeah, Merritt Beeson's up to serve. She was the number one pick of the Pro Volleyball Federation, and I wouldn't be surprised if she had an opportunity to be the National Player of the Year. But and as soon as I say that, she serves it out. I'm sorry, Nebraska fans. Anyway, yeah, Nebraska is they're on their way to win, and this isn't too big of a surprise in my opinion. As much as I love Nebraska, as much as I respect, as much as I love Dayton, and I like their story of how they've made it to the Sweet 16 or the regional semifinals, it just isn't working for them. So this just wasn't their night. So yeah. Anyway, I will. Yeah, Dayton is back to serve. Here we go. Here's the set going to the middle. What a swing right there. As it's going to be match point. Yeah, this is no surprise. Everyone in Husker Nation is standing the heck up. And yeah. I guess I might as well just go into this matchup right here. The first two sets were pretty much all Nebraska, as, again, losing Alyssa Miller just really kind of shook Dayton to the core. I mean, they got her back, but she had limited mobility. And unfortunately, that was a nasty serve into the net by Nebraska. But yeah, just Nebraska was just pretty much strong all game long. And this is no knock on Dayton. Nebraska's defense is just like wallpaper. It's like so tough. It's like all over the place. If the ball is not getting blocked, it's getting dug by Teran Rodriguez. If it's not getting dug, it's being forced into a hitting error. As Nebraska hits that one wide, Dayton is still alive, but for how long? Yeah. This is look. Let's keep it a buck here. Dayton will need like another 11-0 run in order to win. So, and here's the serve. Yeah, this one's out. And Dayton can't challenge it because they have no more challenges. And Nebraska is off to the regional final as they win set 4, 25-13. They'll face Wisconsin. And yeah, I almost got every pick in the final or in the Elite Eight right. The only pick that I missed is Texas losing to Texas, which lost to Creighton. Why did I think that Texas was going to win? I mean, honestly, I'm happy. I'm honestly happy for Creighton. And honestly, but the thing is, I want some parity. It's like ones versus twos. That's cool and all, but I would have liked a Cinderella story like like we had last year. But I digress. But yeah, Nebraska, Wisconsin is going to be a fun little matchup. And yeah, I feel bad for Dayton, but they gave it all they could handle. They took a set off Nebraska, and I get it. They wanted to win. They want to advance to the regional final, but sometimes you just run into the better team. So it is what it is. And tomorrow you'll be seeing Pitt and Kentucky and Stanford Louisville on ESPN2. And then we will see Penn State Creighton on ESPN on Sunday, and then we will see Nebraska and Wisconsin on ABC, which I think is pretty cool. I'm glad ABC is getting involved with this whole NCAA women's volleyball thing. So, all right. But yeah, Wisconsin-Nebraska is going to be fun. I really am going to like that matchup. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in one season, but I'm also going to keep this real. I think Nebraska is going to win. It's nothing against Wisconsin, but Wisconsin just doesn't have the experience. They're playing at the Bob, and Nebraska is just – they had that championship pedigree. And, again, I'm not trying to, like praise Nebraska too much or glaze them too much, but I think Nebraska is just going to be on a whole other level, and they're playing on a whole other level. And it's been a hot minute since they've lost a NCAA tournament match at the Bob. So, yeah, Nebraska, they're just playing great volleyball, and I expect them to get past Wisconsin. Anything short of them advancing would be a shocker to me. So, all right. So, yeah, that was that right there. Long story short for Nebraska, Dayton. Nebraska controlled the first 2 sets. Dayton had their backs against the wall, wound up muscling their way to a 5th set or to a 4th set. And then after that, the clock struck midnight for Dayton. No pun intended. So, yeah, look now looking at the national quarterfinals or the regional finals, Pitt, Kentucky is going to be fun. Kentucky is going to really need to slow down Olivia Babcock, but even if they slow her down, they've got Tori Stafford waiting in the wings. They've also got Bree Kelly as well. They're going to need a strong effort from Brooklyn DeLay, as well as all of their other talented players like Morgan Wilson and Aaron Lamb. I expect a nice little match from her as well. And then for Stanford Louisville, as long as Stanford runs their offense, I think they should be fine. Elena Scott is a fantastic libero, though. I just feel that Stanford might be too much for them just because of the experience that they have. Cami Myers, a fantastic setter. Aaliyah Rubin, I doubt she'll have another clunker match like that. And even if she does, they've got E. Parker and Sammy Francis waiting in the wings. And they've got Jordan Harvey as well, so that's going to be interesting as well. This Stanford offense just looks very clean. And let's not forget Elena Ogilvie. That's the reason why I have Stanford make it to the Final Four. And then Penn State Creighton, I think that is the match of the day right there. I just think that Penn State, they should win because they're playing at Rec Hall, but don't count out Creighton. Creighton is so senior laden. I feel that Creighton wants to send its seniors off with a win, and it's been a minute. I don't think Creighton has been to the Final Four, but if they play their cards like they did against Texas, I think they can advance. But they're going to need to play some strong volleyball against a talented Penn State team. And then Nebraska, Wisconsin, unless Wisconsin just does everything Nebraska does better than they do, I just feel that Nebraska is probably going to win this one fairly easily. I want Wisconsin to make this a match, and I would not be surprised if Wisconsin at least took a set off Nebraska. But I just think Nebraska is just playing some darn good volleyball that I just don't see Nebraska slowing down for anybody. And with it being so long since Nebraska has lost an NCAA tournament match at the Bob Devaney or the Bob Devaney complex, I just think that Nebraska is going to win this one fairly easily. All right, but that is that for the NCAA tournament regional semifinal recap. And on your screen right there, you'll see the days and matchups. You got Pitt, Kentucky, and Louisville, Stanford playing on Saturday. Then Penn State, Creighton, and Nebraska, Wisconsin will be playing on Sunday. So there's that right there. All right, but that's that for the Division I regional final preview. So let's jump on into the NCAA Division II tournament. Yes, I know people are probably not going to like this as much as Division I, but it is volleyball, and the national championship is tomorrow, or today for you East Coasters out there. But yeah, the NCAA Division II national championship will consist of Lynn versus San Francisco State. Yeah, San Francisco State managed to take down Angelo State in 4 sets, while Lynn took down Bentley in straight sets. So, hang on for one quick second, everybody. Sorry about that. All right, now let's preview this little matchup. So yeah, Lynn of Boca Raton takes on Boca Raton, Florida. Will take on San Francisco State in the NCAA Division II National Championship. All right, this is going to be a fun little matchup right here. Lynn is 32-3, while San Francisco State is 26-6. I kind of made a little bit of a joke as I said, watch San Francisco State and Bentley get to the national championship. That almost happened, except Bentley didn't follow the script. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'll try to see this again. I'm going to be so busy tomorrow, as Lynn is led by Samantha Wolf, who has 440 kills. They've also got Maria Cecilia Pinho, who has 372 kills. They've also got Fabia Gonzalez Stanton, who has 270 kills. Aline Aragario, who has 294 kills. Like, this Lynn team is ready to play, and yeah, all their losses came in conference play. So I don't think Lynn is a bad team by any means. I think Lynn is going to be really darn good. And then defensively, looking at them, they are led the dig department by Isabella Gentile, who had 528 digs. Wolf has 351 digs. But we'll see how Lynn performs. Lynn has been great this season, obviously. You have to be great if you're making the national championship. But San Francisco State, on the other hand, they are led by Izzy Isak, who has 480 kills. They also got Tamaya Wilson, who has 447 kills. They've got Aiden Gudrich, who has 303 kills. And then Anastasia Garza has 240 kills. In terms of digs, they are led by Asia Arba, who has 377 digs. Izzy Izak has 323 digs. Wilson has 320 digs. Brianna DeBoer, I feel that last name is familiar, but Brianna DeBoer, she has 399 digs, which I think is pretty awesome sauce right there. So I think for the San Francisco State team, I think the key to them winning will be their defense. Yes, their offense is also going to need to do the thing, but I think that this San Francisco State team will need to play at a high level. This is a San Francisco State team that actually lost their first 3 games, or first 2 matches of the season. They also lost to Cal Poly Pomona, which they avenged that. They also lost to Cal Poly Pomona twice, mind you, and then they avenged those losses in the NCAA tournament, which I think is pretty darn cool. So I think we're in for a barn burner. I'm not going to even try to predict a winner, honestly. I just think that it's going to be a great match, and I hope I can see parts of it. I'm going to bring my laptop to see the action. I imagine it's going to be on ESPN Plus, which I don't think that does it any justice, just because I think we need to see this on it's tough to when it comes to the NCAA Division II tournament, the Division III tournament, and the Division I tournament, trying to get the national spotlight. But it is what it is, and sometimes them's the breaks, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that final. I will try to keep up as best as I possibly can. And yeah, the final is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern at the Pentagon. What is the Pentagon? Not Pentagon Center, but the Pentagon. It's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It is the Sanford Pentagon. So yeah, Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's going to be where it's at. And I look forward to seeing what Lynn and San Francisco State have in store for us. All right, but that's my little synopsis of the Division II final. Actually, let's look at how they got there. So how they got there. So looking at Lynn, they were they're actually the number one overall seed in their region of the bracket. They swept Spring Hill. They outlasted Embry-Riddle. They outlasted Tampa, which I thought was a statement win. They took down Wingate, and then they took down Bentley. So overall, they've only lost they've lost 4 sets, which was to Embry-Riddle and Tampa. And then for San Francisco State, they were on the west side of the region. They were on the bottom right portion. They took down the reigning champion Cal State LA in 5 sets. Then they took down Chaminade in 4 sets. Then they took down Cal Poly Pomona. Like I said, that was a little bit of a revenge match after they lost the first 2 times. They took them down in straight sets. And then in the quarterfinals, they took down Central Oklahoma in 5 sets, which was a very impressive win, considering Central Oklahoma was the reseeded number 2 seed. And then San Francisco State took down Angelo State, the reseeded number 3 seed, in 4 sets. So now San Francisco State plays Lynn, the 4 seed. So San Francisco State is the underdog, but there's nothing better than an underdog story, and I look forward to seeing what happens. All right, so closing off this quick little recap video, we have the NIVC. So 1 out of the 2 finalists have been finalized for the NIVC final, and that's Arizona. So Arizona, yesterday, they took down Northern Colorado in 4 sets. Fun fact, those were the only 2 teams that I correctly predicted in the Fab Four. Yeah, my other 2 picks belly flopped, being Omaha and Virginia. But yeah, Arizona, look, let's keep it a buck here. Arizona deserved to be in the NCAA tournament. They beat BYU earlier in the season when they were ranked number 20. And they also had that win over Kansas, which was absolutely amazing, even though Kansas also lost to Arizona State. But unfortunately, Arizona was one of the first 4 teams out. But looking at their roster, they are straight up phenomenal. They have a stacked roster. They have Jalen Hodge, who has 411 kills. They have Carly Cisneros, who has 299 kills. Jordan Wilson has 428 kills to lead the entire Arizona team. They also got Kiari Roby, who has 177 kills. They have Avery Scogins, who has 1,130 assists. In terms of the dig department, they are led by Cisneros, who has 363 digs. Really? That's it? Interesting. Very good. Yeah, but this Arizona team, let's keep it a buck. It was a miracle that they've only lost 1 set throughout this postseason. Like, they only lost 1 set, and that was in the postseason. That was to Northern Colorado, which, I mean, Northern Colorado fought tooth and nail to win that 3rd set. Just kidding. Arizona got clubbed in that 3rd set. Northern Colorado had their backs against the wall, and they fought like heck. And Northern Colorado fought like heck in that 2nd set, but Arizona just had that extra oomph to them. So yeah, NIVC, and eventually Arizona was able to win the 4th set and advance to the NIVC finals, which I think is pretty awesome. No, the glitch happened. I was fearing that was going to happen, but anyway, Arizona faces the winner of Bowling Green St. John's, which St. John's took down UConn in 4 sets yesterday as well. While Bowling Green took down DePaul on Monday in 4 sets. So I'm interested to see how Bowling Green and St. John's does. I think this one could go either way. But honestly, let's keep it a buck here. Arizona, I think, will beat either or. Not saying that both teams are going to lose. I just think that Arizona is a cut above the rest. And Arizona is proving to everybody that they should have made the NCAA tournament. And I feel bad for that Arizona team because they're the first few out, and they had that marquee win over Kansas, which was a top 10 team at the time. And then they had a top 20 win over BYU, who was top 20 at the time. But unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow when St. John's and Bowling Green lock horns with one another. Unfortunately, I don't know when the NIVC championship is going to be. There's no time or date announced, so I imagine it's going to be, it might be before the national championship. It might be before the national semifinals. We shall see. But that's pretty much your little update on the NIVC right there following the Great Eight. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of Set Point Extra Points. Got to give a shout to Plant Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, and Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Also, make sure to check out iSportsRadio.com for all of your sports news, blog, our page dedicated to each podcast, such as Set Point, our bios regarding our hosts, our fans of the month, our Hall of Fame, which I am a part of, and much more from the website. And make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We greatly would appreciate that. Also follow iSports Radio on several different social media platforms such as X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this episode of Set Point Extra Points. I'm going to do another one of these next Thursday, most likely following the second national semifinal, but I'll keep you all posted. But until then, I will see you all probably Monday for the actual episode of Set Point, where I'll get into the meat and potatoes of everything. But until then, have a great rest of the evening or a great rest of the day for you East Coasters out there, or now soon to be Central Timers. And again, I will see you Monday for the actual episode of Set Point, not Set Point Extra Points. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Peace. Enjoy the volleyball action.